Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Tuesday, the 10th day of March, 2026. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope your family is safe and healthy, that the needs of you and your family in terms of food, shelter, clothing, as well as health are being met today. Blessings upon those that work in the area of health, along with first responders doing their best every day to save human lives. Those also that pick up garbage to keep our places clean, and those that make deliveries for our convenience. Double blessings to the men and women that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and children that are victims of child molestation and pedophilia. People that are victims, that are being helping those that are victims of prostitution, child prostitution, pornography, human trafficking, and sex slavery. Double curses upon the perpetrators, profiteers, and perverts that create demands that cause these industries to exist. And finally, double blessings on the homeless. More than 600,000, no, 700,000 men, women, children, families, senior citizens, military veterans, homeless in the United States of America. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. So there was a basketball game last night in Los Angeles. Knicks lost their second consecutive game in Los Angeles. We're glad to get out of there. They lost the game last night to the Los Angeles Clippers, 118, 126, 118. The game was lost in the turnover area. The Knicks committed 19 turnovers. They played a very spirited game. They were trying to win the game. And this is the thing. To me, the worst part of having a Knicks channel is after losses. And it's not because of the Knicks. Most times. I think twice this year I got very upset about how the Knicks played the game. And most times, though, there's a large contingent of people that are always calling for changes after a loss. It's like a child whining when they didn't get their way. And then there's also a large contingent of people that not only get angry, but get virulent to the point of like nasty about the Knicks, and then calling for changes. Fire the coach, change the lineup, do this, do that. It's so stupid. And that I'm realizing about myself, I don't have tolerance for that. The Knicks lost 2 games in a row. They committed 19 turnovers. They had a couple of rough days, okay? That was the 3rd game of a 5-game road trip. They're going to travel today, going to Utah, and play the Jazz tomorrow. Last night, I noticed, like I said, I was proud of how they fought. They were making mistakes. Generally, for example, and this is the thing. For example, last night I mentioned the Knicks had 19 turnovers. Now, they average right now 13 a game, which was up from, they used to average between 11 and 12, but the last couple of games rose their whole average up. But still, let's say they average 13 turnovers per game. When you see a team that's a professional team that averages, let's say in this case, 13 turnovers a game, have 19, that's not their norm. That's not what they usually do, okay? It's not meaning that something is permanently off, so that permanent changes need to be made. It's just something that happened in a particular game or two out of 82, okay? But people start doing that and start calling for changes. And that's why I have to ignore a lot of folks. Or you look at, for example, I'm looking at Josh Hart, right? I'm looking at Josh Hart, and Josh Hart is shooting right now 38% from 3. 38%. And he takes 4 attempts per game. That's his average. So generally, what a guy averages is what you're going to see most of the time. A little more, little less. So Josh has had a couple of, not last night, but he had a couple of rough shooting games, and people were calling for him to be taken out the lineup. Again, that's high school. That's overreactive. That's not long-term thinking. That's not thinking for the playoffs. So that's what the Knicks did last night. They turned the ball over too much, and generally turnovers. When you see a team that's veteran like the Knicks commit a lot of turnovers, it's one of two things. Either the defensive team, in this case the Clippers, put a tremendous amount of pressure on the Knicks and created turnovers, or the Knicks, again, is just a function of fatigue that causes them to make bad passes. And I watched the game, and I would give credit to the Clippers if it was their defense. It wasn't. Okay, now I will give credit to them. Okay, if their defense was all that and they was causing turnovers, I would say, you know what, they played a hell of a game defensively, but it wasn't that. The Knicks were just making bad passes, and that's a function of, again, fatigue. They were trying their best. I saw it. They were giving their effort. And listen, the Clippers, in my view, are better without Paul George and without Harden than they were with them. They now have the focus on Kawhi Leonard, and Garland is the perfect Robin to Kawhi Leonard's Batman. Perfect. And so they've been playing good. They've been playing good. They were struggling at the beginning of the year. Then they made the changes. Then Kawhi got healthy. Now they balling. Okay. But the Knicks, like if you look at the stats, the important stats aside from the turnover, the Knicks out-rebounded them by what? They out-rebounded them 51-36. They had 14 offensive rebounds. I mean, the Knicks had 32 assists. So it wasn't like they weren't playing Knicks basketball. They outscored them in the paint. It was the turnovers. And the turnovers are always going to be important. But look, Jalen Brunson had 7 turnovers Sunday. He had 3 yesterday. Both of them are above what he normally does. He is averaging 2 turnovers a game. Okay? So when you see him get 2, 3, 7, that is a function of something that's not to do with a normal game for Jalen Brunson. And again, both the Lakers and the Clippers, they're good teams. Especially the Clippers are on the come up now. Like I said, they've seen the found a stride with the healthy Kawhi Leonard. And Kawhi Leonard, one of the things about him to me that makes him special is, first of all, he is all NBA level defense. He is a really top-notch defender. Offensively, though, I think the only guy I have ever seen that is efficient with his movement as Kawhi Leonard is Tim Duncan. 2 different players, 2 different positions, but Tim Duncan never wasted movement. Everything was efficient. And it's the same with Kawhi. Every movement means something. It's efficient, it's quick, and it has a purpose. He didn't just, do movement for no reason. He's very efficient, and it comes out in his game. So he played a great game last night. The thing is, the Knicks, the number one, I mentioned the turnovers. Number 2, they could not hit a 3. And the thing is, our guy is Shamet, okay? So Shamet, again, Shamet shoots over 40% from 3. So last night, he shoots 3 of 12. And he had a lot, and it wasn't even no forced looks. He had wide open looks. He just couldn't knock them down. And the thing is, again, it's fatigue. It's going to happen, y'all. You got to live with that. It's okay. And they will come back from it. We don't need to make wholesale changes in any area of the New York Knicks. None. Okay? Then we had knuckleheads complaining about Mikal Bridges. Mikal's been messing up. Blah, blah. There's haters out there. Listen, Mikal last night shot 3 of 8, 1 of 3 from the field. He was guarding Kawhi. He was guarding their toughest covers along with OG. Mikal is perfect fit for this lineup, and we just need to move the basketball. Now, last night, nobody except Towns was really shooting the ball. Brunson did take 23 shots, and maybe that was a little too much, but most of them was in the comeback. The Knicks are going to try to come back, so you expect Brunson to take most of the shots in the fourth quarter, and he was trying his best. Brunson was +1 yesterday, and what I liked was he was trying his best. He had 8 assists. He was trying his best to move the basketball. And daggone dude was playing some defense yesterday. I was watching the little things that would create stops that Brunson did yesterday. And it was really good. He was guarding that paint. So it was just a game they lost, man. It happens. There's nothing you could do. Again, all of them calling for changes. That's why I don't respond. And if you come on my channel talking negative about one of my guys, you're going to get bounced. One guy I respect a lot, I won't name him, he know who he is, called my team lazy. Come on, man. The Knicks ain't lazy. This is a pro team, a playoff team. They ain't lazy. Never. Sometimes they just don't have the energy. That's it. Period. I don't care if people say, well, there's no excuse. Yes, there is. If they're tired, you tired. You can't run a marathon if you wake up in the morning and you tired. So it just happens. and it's part of the game. I'm not worried at all about our team. We'll be all right. Only concern I have right now is I would like them to move up, in the standings and get that second seed. The Celtics are playing their best basketball right now with Tatum coming back. Detroit has lost 4 in a row. I don't know if they won last night, but let me see. No, they have lost 4 in a row. And so now the Celtics are only 2.5 games behind them. The Knicks are 3 games behind the Celtics. So, we in the 3rd seed right now, and Cleveland's only a half game behind us, so it's bunching up. I'd like the Knicks to get that 2nd seed. We still got enough time for that to happen. It's only 3 games between them and Boston right now. So that could happen. But that's really it. And you want the Knicks to be healthy going into the playoffs. That's it. Okay? All of this crap about, we need to make all these changes and do all this and Brown don't know what he's doing. That's from a bunch of amateurs that don't know basketball and are going to try to act like they do. The Knicks know what they're doing. Last night, the reason our boy played Kolek and Jordan Clarkson is because of fatigue of the regular rotation guys. He's trying to give them some rest and put in some guys for a few minutes that's going to hopefully not lose too much behind. That's why you see a Jordan Clarkson. That's why you saw a Tyler Kolek last night. It's not like he's thinking about replacing anybody. It's just for rest. That's it. So now, like I said, they got a tough 2 coming up. They got to go to Utah and play Utah on Wednesday. Okay? I believe they'll be ready for that. But then on Friday, they got to go to Indiana. That's 2 different far places. So they got to go to Indiana and play in Indiana. I think it's Indiana on Friday. So they playing the Jazz tomorrow night. And then they're playing Indiana. I think it's Indiana. I'm going to double check. But I think it's Indiana they play Friday. Yeah, it is. It's at Indiana on Friday. Then they got Golden State at the Garden on Sunday. So they got days rest in between, which is good. But they also got a lot of traveling to do. So let's see what happens. But we'll be all right. Just got to calm down. Like I said, the problem is not the Knicks. It's Knicks Nation and media. That's the problem. Okay? And I hope our guys are ignoring all of that. I really hope they're staying off me. I know Mitchell Robinson likes to stay on social media, and Josh Hart has admitted that he looks at it sometimes. I hope they really ignore the social media and just focus on what they got to do. If they play Knicks basketball, which yesterday they were doing until they were turning the ball over too much. Low turnovers, dominate the paint, protect yours and get in theirs, and get good shots. That's all you could ask for. Play tough defense. They got good shots yesterday. Shamet had some really good looks. Even I'm listening to the Clippers people, and it was like, not the Clippers people. It was whatever the national media was. But they was like, they're getting good shots. They're just not hitting them. And Shamet, if 9 times out of 10, you giving Shamet good looks at a 3, he going to knock that down. Okay, so he just wasn't doing it last night. It could be fatigue caught up with him individually while caught up with a lot of the rest of the team the day before. So we'll be all right. We got the squad. Brown already knows who his rotation is. We're just now trying to grind out some wins so we can move up in these standings. Next stop is Utah. Yes, they lost 2 in a row, but listen, you beat Utah on Wednesday, your road trip is 2-2. If you come out of a road trip 500, especially one like this one that the Knicks are going through right now, you're doing good. So don't worry. We don't need to play Kolek more. We don't need to sit Josh Hart or Mikal Bridges. And then some idiot talking about this summer the OG or Mikal got to go. I was like, some people, really, the meds are strong. Anyway, I said to y'all before, I'm going to say it again. This team was built for a 4-year run, in which we're in year 2. It's not built to make changes based on knuckleheads yelling. It's built for a 4-year ride. Buckle up. Okay? Buckle up. We don't need Giannis. You don't need to change the team. Just need to be healthy. And hopefully, that's happening. As we get ready for the playoffs, we know, again, we got the good news about Deuce. So hopefully he'll be back soon. Mitch Robb, we know he's not playing back-to-backs, and we were missing him last night, but they still dominated the boards. The Knicks still dominated the boards last night. I was very impressed with how they handled their business last night. So they did good, okay? Just, again, the turnovers. And the turnovers were a function. It was just some silly, like, you would see, like, passes that Brunson would make to Hart, that he does it 9 times out of 10, and then he led him too far. Or somebody else do a pass and it was a lazy pass, but that's just a function of fatigue. Really, it is. So we just need to just leave the guys alone, let them work their way through this. They will, and we'll be all right. Okay? This is a tough part of the season right here. It's very tough. 5-game road trip. So I would let the Knicks play their road trip without Knicks Nation tripping. But they'll be all right. All right? We're just trying to get healthy and get through this here. Enjoy your Tuesday. We'll see what happens tomorrow. It's a 9 o'clock game because they're in Utah. 9 o'clock game. And we'll see that tomorrow. Enjoy your Tuesday. Be safe out there. So